Welcome everyone to Computer Networking Technology. I am sorry that I can't be here with you today to introduce myself to you, introduce my program to you, and to learn and meet you and find out who you are and why it is you came to this school and everything else. But I'm currently unavoidably detained. Uh, so what I'd like to do is welcome you to Computer Networking Technology, introduce the program to you so that so that you get an idea of what it is that we have to offer, and then you'll be able to make an educated decision on where it is that you want to be at the end of your rotation, and hopefully you'll be able to make the appropriate choice when it's all said and done. So right out of the gate, just so you know, my name is Mr. Bridgehouse, and some of you might recognize that last name. There is a science teacher upstairs who also has the same last name. Uh, and yes, in case you're wondering, that is my kid. So this is what he's going to look like in 30 years, just so you know. Right there. All right. So anyhow, my name is Mr. Pritchhouse, and I put on the screen here that this is not my first career. And that's an important thing that I want to address with all of you, because we do make changes. Nothing that you choose today, nothing you choose in November, is going to be written in stone. You're always going to have the opportunity to make changes on what your path is going to be, what direction that it is that you want to follow. So I always bring that up, that this is not my first career. And I'm not talking about education here. I'm not talking about IT. When I got out of high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I'm supposed to do the same path that everybody does. I'm supposed to head off to college, right? Well, I decided at that point maybe college wasn't right for me, so I went into the family business. And my stepfather was a plumber. We were living in Ocean City, New Jersey at the time, and I went to go work for Broadley Plumbing and Heating. I worked there for a few months. I moved back to Pennsylvania with my father, and I got a plumbing apprenticeship here in Lancaster County. And I did that job for 13 years, and I've got no regrets. Uh, I still can do all the plumbing I want to do today, that's for sure. Uh, but being a plumber, I got to delve in electricity, I got to do heating, I got to do carpentry, and obviously I got to do the plumbing and heating aspect. And because of being a plumber, I actually have this feeling that there's nothing that I can't fix. I'm also a firm believer that if you can read, you can do anything. So I did plumbing for 13 years, and it was a great gig. And I have a total respect for any one of you students out there who wants to do the trades, because I've been there. I know how challenging it is. I know how difficult it is, and how rewarding of a career it is as well. So how did I end up doing IT for a living? Well, back in the early 90s, around 1992, I believe, my wife and I were considering having a family. And she said that she was going to need to have a computer in order to work from home. So I took a computer class back in the 80s, and I thought it was the dumbest thing in the world. It was just a blank screen with a blinking cursor, and who the heck would want to do that, right? So I knew nothing about the world of computers. So we went to where everybody goes to buy a computer. We headed off to Sears. Now, hear me out. There was no such thing as a Best Buy back then. There was no such thing as a Circuit City back then. They had Radio Shack. I guess I could have gone to Radio Shack to get a computer, but we went to Sears. And I bought this awesome Packard Bell computer. And for those of you who have never heard of Packard Bell before, I want you to think about what kind of computer it is that you have uh, in your bags that the school gave you. It's an HP. HP stands for Hewlett Packard. I bought a Packard Bell. So basically, I got one of the first HP machines out there. So anyhow, I get this Packard Bell computer. We have it sitting on a dining room table, and my wife is going off to work that day, and she looks at me and she says, "Don't touch the computer." See, I was a plumber, so at the time I was laid off, and it happens all the time. Um, if you've ever tried to dig a hole in Pennsylvania in the middle of January, it's next to impossible. The ground's frozen solid. So plumbing pipes are either in the ground or they're up in the air. So we used to get laid off, and they would say, "Just come, we'll see you in the spring thaw," and I was fine with it, and it happened pretty often. So my wife says to me, "Don't touch the computer." So if there's any ladies in the room, I want to give you a little bit of advice. Never tell a man not to do something and then leave him alone, because he's going to do it. So that being said, I'm heading off. My wife's heading off to work, and I'm heading over to that computer. She got me this book called DOS for Dummies. DOS was the disk operating system originally created by Microsoft for the Altair PC when they first started developing personal computers. So apparently I was a dummy. So like I said, I'm a firm believer that if you can read, you can do anything. So I grabbed this book, I sit down at the computer, and I'm following the directions. And the directions say, take this floppy disk and put it in the drive. I was very literal. So I put the floppy disk in the drive. It did not say turn the lever down though. So I didn't. What the lever does is it stops the disk from working its way out of the machine as you're using the computer. So I turn on the computer, boots to the floppy disk, and I'm going through the directions. I was flying. I was making good time. Probably on like page 6, when all of a sudden everything just goes dark. Everything goes dark to begin with because the screen didn't have it was just a black screen with a blinking cursor. It didn't have a mouse. You only had a keyboard at the time. There was no Microsoft Windows yet. And so anyhow, everything just stops working. So I'm doing everything I can to try to fix this computer. And the only thing I know how to do is push the power button. So I was like pushing that power button 1,000 times. Nothing was going to work. So eventually I just, went downstairs and watched TV. Wife comes home from work, ridicules me for a little bit. I deserved it. She reinstalls the operating system in like 20 minutes. All right. Good on you, right? Next day, she's heading off to work. She says, don't touch the computer. I'm like, yes, dear. Well, I was a plumber. So there's one thing I had was money. So I head off to Sears. I go and get the next best computer that they have. Little one better, a little bit better than hers. I took it apart. I put it back together. I upgraded the RAM. I upgraded the hard drive. I upgraded the operating system to Windows. So yes, now I had a mouse. I was pointing and clicking. And I had pretty colors on the screen and everything. And it was awesome. And I upgraded her computer. And then I had people calling me up saying, hey, can you come fix my computer? Hey, I just got a new computer. Can you show me how to use it? Can you set it up for me? All this stuff. I was good. So I go out to the store and I get this ancient artifact that you may have heard of before. It's called a newspaper. Yes. If you haven't seen one, go to the local museum. You might find one. So I open up the newspaper. I'm going into the classified sections and I'm looking for computer jobs. So hardware technicians, what I was looking for at the time. It's really all I really knew. So I'm circling these jobs in the want ads and I'm sending off my resume and filling out job applications and mailing them out. You didn't apply for jobs online yet because we didn't have the internet yet. So I'm now making phone calls. I'm like, hey, my name is Mike Bridgehouse. I'm responding to your ad in the newspaper. I sent you my resume 2 weeks ago. I'm just following up on that. And I'm getting a lot of no's. Nobody wants to give me an opportunity to do the job. Why? Why am I the bane of society? Why can't I get a job? All right. Most of you are probably thinking, well, because you're a plumber. Because you don't know what you're doing. You're a plumber. Hopefully somebody in the group is thinking to themselves, because you don't have a degree. You're right. I didn't have a degree in computers. So I go back to school at night. Okay. I mean, if you think about it, guys, this is why you're all here, right? You're here to get a piece of paper from an accredited institution like Dauphin County Technical School that says, I know what I'm doing. You see, when you graduate, your program teachers are going to sign a vocational certificate saying that you have met the criteria set up by industry and by the Pennsylvania Department of Education and that you are qualified to do this job as a career. I didn't have that piece of paper, so I had to go back to school at night. I ended up going to the Computer Learning Network over in Camp Hill. I majored in microsystems technology. Now, back then, you didn't major in security. You didn't specialize in disaster recovery or Linux or Windows Server or computer hardware. You did it all. So I was doing it all. This 2-year program was brutal. It was 5 days a week, 6 to 9 every night. It was exhausting. We didn't get Christmas breaks. You got Christmas off, but you didn't get a Christmas break. You didn't get summers off. You had to work through the summers. So I'm doing plumbing by day and I'm doing school by night. I'm exhausted. And when I graduated, top of my class, I might add, when I graduated, I had 3 jobs waiting for me. I didn't even have to apply. They were recruiting from the company, from the school. It was awesome. So I ended up working for this company called Telemark over in Mechanicsburg. And I was doing systems integration, which means we would write an application and we would customize it for your company. And then we would integrate it into your computer systems. And then we would manage your networks and take care of your hardware. I was doing it all. It was a great job. And I was put in charge of the education division. So I'm working at Dauphin County Technical School. I'm working at Cumberland Perry Vocational School. I'm working at East and Westmoreland. I'm over in Philadelphia area, Downingtown Middle School and High School. I got a busy job and I'm loving it. It's exciting. Something new is happening every day. Enjoy the job. And then one day I get a phone call in my office. It's the directors here at Dauphin County Technical School asking me if I wanted to come and teach. And I obviously said no because I had a great job. Our building had a Starbucks inside. Now, it wasn't like the Starbucks that you guys have, where they basically give you dessert in a cup. It was real coffee. It was just coffee. You want cream or sugar with that? It's coffee. And we had tasty cakes and we had candy, and it was good. And they kept us hopped up on sugar and caffeine all day to do our jobs. I loved my job. So, and not many people can say that they love their jobs. And I could, and I can today too. And it was a great job. And then, but I turned down the teaching position here. And then like a week or so later, I get a phone call saying we can't get to our databases. So, I hop on my computer, clicking away, trying to like connect to the school here from my office over in Mechanicsburg. I can't connect. Now I got to come out to here to Dauphin County Technical School and fix it. So the first thing you do when a network problem is occurring is you check the back of the card to see if the network is plugged in. I walk in and click, and the network was unplugged. Network cables don't come unplugged. So I look behind me, and there's 2 administrators standing behind me, and they're having a good old chuckle about it. And we wanted to talk to you about the position, about a teaching position. And I said, I really don't want to do this, right? And they said, well, here's the thing. We're going to match your salary. And I'm like, okay, we didn't tell me that before. So, all right, so it's a lateral move. And they said, we're going to pay for your education. And I just got out of school. I don't feel like going back to school. And I'm like, well, you need to have an education degree. I'm like, fine. But it was a Penn State education. So I'm like, okay, fine. That sounds good. Then they say, you're going to get the summers off. It's a 189-day contract. You're going to get the summers off. And I'm like, ooh, yeah, about that. I just got off of a career where you got laid off like every winter, and I don't want to be going back into that. And they said, no, you don't understand. Okay? It's 189 days. You're going to work 189 days. We're going to give you the summer off, and then we're going to pay you for the summer. And then you're going to come back in August, and you're going to do it again. And I was like, what? You're going to pay me for the summer? And I come back and do it again and again and again? They said, yes. So eventually I signed on the dotted line. Yes, I will be your new teacher. And that was October of 1998. So I've been here a long time. I'm going into my 25th year of teaching. When I started here, they were teaching kids ASCII, which is binary numbers to text. We don't do that anymore. They were teaching kids how to program using punch cards. We don't do that. We weren't doing it then, and they were still teaching it. The program was antiquated. It was getting ready to fail. They gave me my room keys, kicked me into the door, and said, "Here, have at it." I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to teach them. So I modeled the program after what I had done over the Computer Learning Network. And I was teaching operating systems and hardware and networking. And program was getting popular and kids were liking it. So I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. Got so popular that we actually had to add another program, which is basically where web development program came from, because we had to find a place for the kids who wanted my program, but we didn't have room for them. So it was really cool. Eventually, we became a full-blown Cisco Academy and Computer Hardware Academy, which is what we're still doing today. But what the cool thing about it is, like the equipment that you see in the racks around the room, there's like $20,000 to $30,000 of equipment in each one of those racks. This school constantly makes sure that you kids, no matter what program it is, always has the latest and greatest technology to help you learn. It's awesome. We never have to deal with just old stuff in our building. The administration in this building takes care of us so well in that regard. Now, eventually, the program has gotten to where it is today. And I'm going to share a little bit more with you about that. But first, why do I do this job? Why do I still do it? Well, I do this job, okay? IT-wise pays well. That's a good thing. Teaching, not so much, okay? But computer networking does. You see, I teach here. I teach at the Harrisburg Area Community College, and I have my own IT business. So IT pays well. And IT never stops growing. IT is changing over and over and over again, to the point where you just don't get bored with this gig, because it's not monotonous. It's always something new. You're always learning. I'm doing things in here that we never thought we would be able to do. Perfect example is when I was in school, I asked my professor if we would ever be able to have phone calls like the Jetsons. Now, for those of you, you probably don't know what the Jetsons are. The Jetsons was a space-age cartoon, okay, where they had flying cars and the houses were in the clouds, and their phone calls weren't on, like a phone. The phone calls were done video, like we're doing right now, right? Like a Zoom. And my professor said, not in my lifetime. He literally said that we would not be having video calls in his lifetime. I was an adult student. He was only like 5-6 years older than me. So he's still alive. And we've been doing Zoom and Skype and FaceTime. It seems like forever, right? But here we are doing things we thought we'd never be able to do. Perfect example is fiber optic cabling. Fiber optic cabling is glass cabling. Instead of using copper to send your data, or radio waves like the wireless to send your data, we use glass because it's faster. Glass uses light. And the glass fiber is the diameter of a human hair. And we work on it here in the school. No one else is, but we are, because we have the highest end of technology. We're doing stuff in here that we thought we'd never be able to do. So now you know why I do it, right? Why should you consider coming into this program to do computer networking? Well, for one, as I mentioned to you earlier, I teach at the Harrisburg Area Community College. When Hack called me up in 2011, I used to teach back there in 2003. I taught there, and I taught at Central Penn College as well. When Hack called me, they called me up in 2011 and asked if I wanted to come back and teach again. And because I had given it up because I didn't need it, right? And I wanted to spend more time with my kids. They were all still young, and I was coaching soccer and everything else for them. So Hack called me up in 2011, asked if I wanted to come back and teach. And I said, okay, but I want to take the programs that I'm teaching at Hack and I want to bring them back to the high school and give the kids college credits for taking my program. They said, agreed. So we had the CNT 120 and 125 program that I teach at Hack in the evenings. I teach that in your junior year here. Now, the students at Hack will pay around $700 for a class, okay, for a 3-credit class. Classes are taken by credit. So you usually have like a 1-credit class, a 3-credit class, a 4-credit class, a 5-credit class, and you pay dollar amount based on the credit, okay? So I teach a 3-credit class and a 4-credit class at Hack right now. I brought them back. My students, if they want to get college credit for it, they only have to pay like $280 for a 3-credit class, whereas at night, if you want to take that class, it's like a $700 class. So it's a heck of a financial break for the students who want to do it. And to make things even better, we work pretty hard throughout the curriculum to get you as many college credits as possible. And the school does too. Your academic teachers, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but your math teacher, Mrs. Mater, upstairs, she's a college professor, and she does college in the high school as well. Mr. Samuels is a college professor, and he teaches college in the high school. Okay, and I believe for those of you who are doing medical, Mrs. Schuyler is also a college professor, and she does college in high school. So we offer probably more college credits in this building than any of your homeschools probably combined. We offer upwards of, like I offer 27 credits alone. And it takes 60 college credits for you to get an associate's degree in computer networking technology. So that being said, I get you halfway there while you're in high school. We actually have a lot of our students who take a lot of their academic classes at the college because they're trying to get close to finishing up their degrees. The Dogging Tennis School has been around since 1970, and they have had so far 4 students graduate with a college degree before they had a high school diploma. That's saying something. It says not something just about what the school is, but it also says a lot about you students and your drive and determination to succeed, which is why you came to school in the first place. So yeah, this program that I teach, we offer college credits for what it is that we do. We also have excellent pay. If you think about it, and I'll explain this one here. My youngest child, is 22 years old. He just graduated from Westchester University, and his starting salary is $5,000, less than what I make here at the school after 25 years of teaching. So the IT biz, it pays pretty well. The work is challenging, so your brain's always working, and that means it's never dull. The work is hands-on. When you guys come back from IE today, after second period, you guys are going to come into this room in here, and you're going to build a PC. Yeah. So if any of you have never built a PC before, you're going to build one. And you're going to build it as a team because you're going to be paired up with somebody else so you can work with each other and learn from each other. And you're going to have a senior helping you do it too. Then you're going to take lunch today at 4th period. We're the last lunch. Suck it up. Okay. You're going to have lunch today, and then you're going to have an independent project. And that independent project is building and creating and setting up your own wireless router. So it means you're going to build your own Wi-Fi network. And the cool thing about that is you're going to set up your Wi-Fi network. It's going to connect to the internet. And then you're going to be able to take your phone and connect your phone to that wireless router. And now your phone's going to be online. So a lot of you have, you're already got the shakes a little bit because you're in this room and we're a dungeon and we don't have any signal in here. So you don't have contact with the outside world and you're kind of getting a little jittery. So at the latter part of the day today, you're going to be able to build your own wireless router, and we'll allow you to keep that thing up and running until 2:30 where you need to clean up. It's perfect. Okay. That's an independent project. We're going to find out if you can actually follow directions. Now, we do some work outside. We don't do a lot of work outside, but cabling does have to go from building to building. So we can install that. And then you think about in smart home technology and in just security, cameras. Cameras aren't put up by electricians. Cameras are put up by your IT people. Okay, so we're the ones who set up your IP cameras. We're the ones who set up your Ring doorbells, right? So we do some work outside, but it's not a lot of work outside. Okay? So what are you going to do for me in your ninth grade year? What can you expect as an IT student? What can you expect to do? Well, in your ninth grade year, you're going to do IT fundamentals. Now, IT fundamentals gives you a well-rounded, all-around picture of the IT industry in itself. Now, that being said, you're going to learn a little bit about Python programming, some JavaScript. You're going to learn about databases. You're going to learn about computer hardware. You're going to learn about some web development, okay, and some computer networking. And you're going to be able to try to achieve what's called the Computer Technology Industry Association's ITF Fundamentals certification. And if you get that certification, the Harrisburg Area Community College is going to grant you a CIS 110 class for free. And they're going to give it to you to go towards your degree. You only have to pay for that one. So here you are in ninth grade and you've already earned 3 college credits. You're not even allowed to be a hack student yet. You're already on your way. In your 10th grade year, you're going to do the Computer Technology Industry Association's A+ Computer Hardware Maintenance class. That's the one where we get hard into, crazy delve into hardware, and you're going to build a PC. This year, we got a grant for $44,000. We're going to build 27 gaming PCs for our classroom this year to help support not just our classroom, but to help support the esports team as well. That's all going to happen in here. And if you pass that certification, now remember, these CompTIA exams are not designed for high school students. These are designed for adults, right? So if you're thinking to yourself, why am I going to be taking an adult exam when I'm a high school student? Well, because that certification you're going to take with you when you graduate. And do you want to walk up to that employer and say, I've got my A+ certification, and they'll say that's a high school exam, not an adult exam. Come back when you have some, something real. So we give you, and the school pays for it, your CompTIA A+ Computer Hardware and Maintenance exam. We don't give you the cert. You have to earn the cert. You got to take a test. Okay. Now, if you pass that test, HACC will give you your Electronics 125 and your 126 college classes for free. You won't have to take them, and your CIS 127 classes. So there's right there 10 more college credits right out of the gate. Then the next half of that year, we're going to move into our Network Plus certification. That Network Plus certification, if you pass that one, that's going to give you your CNT 120 class, the class I teach you in your junior year. You're going to get that one for free. Now, you're going to get a different curriculum than I teach over at HACC, because at HACC, I only have my students over there for 1 day a week for 2.5 hours for 12 weeks. So I can't really pump that much information into them during that amount of time. But for you, I have you guys for 2 hours, for 2 to 3 days a week for 6 hours a day, roughly. So we get a lot more information pumped into you come graduation than you would have if you were taking it at the Harrisburg Community College. The professors over at HACC who teach at 200 level side have told me that the students are coming from my program here at the high school are more well prepared than any of the other students they're getting, including the ones that they get and we teach at HACC. So that's a good thing, right? So that's 13 possible credits right there, which takes you into your junior year, which is all Cisco. Now, Cisco is the leading manufacturer of networking devices in the world. So it only makes sense that we run a Cisco Academy to teach you how to operate their equipment. So we'll do Intro to Networks for your CNT 120 class, and then your second half of the year we'll do CNT 125, which is Advanced Routing and Switching, and also Wireless Technology, which is 7 more college credits. So right now we're already up to like 23 college credits, and you just enrolled in HACC at the beginning of your 11th grade year. So you're already halfway to your degree. We're going to finish up your Cisco Academy in the first half of your senior year and take CNT physical cabling. So you're going to do your fiber optics and your copper cabling at that point, and add a couple more credits, 3 credits for the physical cabling. If you pass your Cisco certification, you'll get another 3 credits for your CNT 240 internetworking class. So that's a bonus right there. For any kids who are actually pretty close to getting their degrees at this point, if they need, I can give them a 260 wireless administration class as well, which I have all set up ready for them to go. Now, at this point, we also have an ethical hacking class. And a lot of kids want to get into that hacking thing, but we save it to the end of the year. And the reason, or the end of your senior year, because at this point, we want to make sure you know the difference between good and evil. Because you can take that whole hacking thing, you can take it to the good side, or you can take it to the dark side. That's completely up to you, okay? One lands you in jail, one puts people in jail. You have to choose which one it is you want to go, right? Another thing about hacking, why we should teach hacking, is as a network administrator doing security, you need to know how to keep the bad guy out. And if you don't know how to keep the bad guy out, okay, if you don't know how they're getting in, how are you going to keep them out? Right? So you get 9 more credits right there. Plus you've taken English upstairs, you've taken math upstairs, okay? You've got those college credits built in, so everything for you has worked right towards you either going on to college after here or perhaps having your degree before you even left. And you've got an A+ certification, a Network Plus certification, your Cisco certification, and you are what we call employable. Can everybody do it? No. It's difficult, but it's very rewarding. In the end, the choice is always yours. So what I'm hoping here today is that some of you are going to enjoy what we've offered you today. You're going to, second period, you're going to come in here, you're going to build your own computer. After lunch, you're going to set up your own wireless network, and you might make a decision that, yeah, maybe, just maybe, this is a program that I want to do. This is normally the part of the day when I would say, when I would take out my seating chart and try to introduce myself to you guys and find out who you are and why you came in. But unfortunately, I'm not here with you today in person, so I can't do that. But at the end of the day today, if the seniors have said that you guys have done everything that you need to do, they might even hook you guys up with the computer games that are on our computers, because all of our computers are used for the esports team. So maybe you want to play a little Rocket League or some CSGO or something like that. You also have the Amazon device on the ceiling. You might want to play maybe Song Quiz or something. Or you can use the arcade machine over in the corner. Okay, and play some old 80s arcade games. So that's all I have for you right now. I hope I gave you some good information about what our program is and what and how it operates. And hopefully I'll see you in November as a CNT student. Thanks, guys.